I married a guy I knew most of my life. We knew each other in high school and even went to prom together. But little did I know, I did not know him at all. I will call my now ex-husband Dirty Chad.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
With Bloody Happy Hour.
And we are bringing to you Dirty Chad. Get it on patreon.com/Bloody Happy Hour exclusively for all the details and all the red flags.
Caroline's finally telling her story.
My truth.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to this episode of A Visit to the Mound. I'm Lark Smith, and he is
Stan Huff.
And our guest today spent 11 seasons in the major leagues with the Yankees, Royals, Mariners, and Rangers, winning a World Series with the Kansas City Royals in 1985. Steve Balboni set a Royals team record for home runs that season at 36, a record that was not broken until 2017 by Mike Moustakas. Steve, thank you very much for joining us today for A Visit to the Mound.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
I'm certain you and Stan have some great stories as your careers cross, but the first story I want to hear is your take of the pine tar incident as you were there that day as the starting first baseman for the New York Yankees.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty funny. We were in Kansas City. I was with the Yankees. We were playing in Kansas City, and Billy Martin and the other coaches, they saw George Brett's bat, and they saw the pine tar was up high, and so they were just waiting. They just waited until he did something that hurt us, and then they were to check the bat. And so nothing happened in Kansas City, but when we went back, we played them in New York, I think the following week. And he hits a home run off Goose, and they checked the bat immediately. And I didn't know George at the time. I mean, I got to know, be friends with him later, but he came out of that dugout. I thought he was going to hit the umpire. I mean, he was furious, and the way he came out, I was shocked. But it was pretty funny. And then Gaylord Perry grabbed the bat and ran up the dugout. It was a whole show.
Well, I believe what ended up happening is the president of the American League decided that it was okay for him to have used the bat. They denied the protest and had to go back and finish off the game.
Yeah. I mean, usually they change the rule after, like the following year or something. Yeah, they changed the rule so that his home run counted. So anybody else but George Brett, it wouldn't matter. But with him,
Did Billy
look? They had to finish.
Did Billy look for that kind of stuff, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, as far as baseball goes, nothing got by him. I mean, as far as the baseball mind, he didn't. He was tough to play for. If he liked you, you were okay. If he didn't like you, you were in big trouble. But as far as on the field, he always seemed to be in the right spot, the right pitcher against the right hitter. He was always ahead of everybody else. I mean, as far as baseball goes, he was outstanding as a baseball manager.
Well, it seemed like he liked veterans better than he liked rookies.
Yeah, he didn't like rookies, and then
They weren't his drinking buddies.
They were veterans. They were veterans he didn't like. And believe me, I mean, I remember who was it? I'm getting bad with names. Larry Milburn was playing second base, and there was a squeeze. Billy put a squeeze bun on, and I guess they kind of anticipated it, and the squeeze was on, and the pitcher pitched out, and Larry Milburn was at the plate, and he tried, but he couldn't reach the ball, and Billy Martin was mad that he didn't throw his bat at the ball and do more to get it. And I'm not kidding. He never stepped foot on the field again.
That is
so. Yeah, you had to be. Yeah, Yeah, you didn't want to do anything that he didn't like. But if he liked you, you were fine.
That's good. Well, let's see. Now, years later, when we hooked up with Montreal, you were the hitting coach in, was it AA? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was kind of a different year as well. That's right after that, the team fell apart, and let's see, I think they went to Washington, and the other team came up from the Miami and became the Boston Red Sox new management team. And then most of the personnel that we had went to Miami. Did you get to go on that deal?
No, I didn't. Yeah, because no one told me. I was actually going to Ottawa to be the hitting coach in AAA.
Uh-huh.
And then that whole thing happened, and I actually called Jeffrey Loria to find out what was happening, but he really couldn't tell me anything, and I just said I can't, not knowing where I was going to be or what was happening. I said I can't do it. So yeah, I just left. Yeah, I didn't.
Well, okay, so fast forward, you got a job with the Giants, and you were doing some advanced scouting for them. Can you touch a little bit on what your duties were when you were doing the advanced work?
Yeah, well, I grew up 15 minutes from Brian Sabian, the GM. We grew up in New Hampshire together, and then we went to college together. And
good.
So I knew him. So he asked me all the time to go work for the Giants with him. But everybody was on the West Coast and everything, and I had my kids at home, and I didn't want to be away for 7 months at a time. So when my last son graduated high school, I called him and wanted to kind of get back into, because I was helping out with the high school team and stuff.
Right.
I wanted to get back into coaching, and just to see if he had anything. And I wanted to be on the field, like a hitting coach or something.
Right.
And he goes, I don't have anything right now, but how about scouting? And I don't want to scout. I was thinking, like amateurs and, going to high school games. And it's like, I'm not going to do that. And he goes, no, pro scouting. We go to the games, and he goes, one of their big scouts got sick, and he wanted me to kind of go with him and learn and help him out, because he ended up having cancer, and he ended up not living to even do it. So I agreed to do it, and I was in this area, and I had no idea what I was doing. They wanted these reports, and it's like, are you kidding? Like, I was so far behind on the reports. It was taking me forever to write them. And one time I had to call. I called the guy that was in charge of me, and I said, look, if you ever want to see these reports, he said, you got to give me the next 4 days to catch up. So I was supposed to go see the Yankees or something. He said, okay, just stay home and write the reports. So yeah, I ended up sending them to him in November. They were supposed to be done at the end of the year. I think I finished the end of November. But then the next year, a friend of mine was doing the advance, and he was by himself. And they liked having two advanced guys. So I ended up doing the advanced scouting with him, the two of us, the following year, which I loved. And so we just, we'd alternate teams, and whoever we were playing would go out. You watch them 5 games, do the reports, and then, just keep doing that. And it worked out great. And I'm in such a good area. I had a lot of teams around here, so I get to be home quite a bit, and just commute to the games.
So exactly. I mean, what were you reporting on? The strengths and weaknesses on offense and defense?
Yeah, basically. I mean, it would be like how I would watch a game. I'd watch a pitcher, what he liked to do in certain situations, how he was throwing.
Oh, yeah.
Hitters just watch their swings, their weaknesses, that you feel their weaknesses are, and who's hot, who's not, because hits don't always tell you, analytics doesn't always tell you. I mean, a guy bloops in a few hits, he's not swinging good. You know,
Exactly.
I mean, you know, or he's hitting line drives at everybody, and it's like, well, you know, he's still hitting the ball good. He's just, you know, maybe not getting. So it was more, you know, hands on, and then would go send it to the coaches, and Boch was the manager. Bruce Bochy was the manager, and would send the reports to them, and then if they had any questions, they'd call us, or if we wanted to explain something a little bit more, we'd call them and talk to them. So it was a really good relationship. Every spring,
go ahead.
Every spring we'd go in and you know, go over the how the report was laid out, and see if they wanted any changes. Like, is there something you don't care about, you don't want, or is there something you do want that we're not giving you, and stuff like that. So by the end, I mean, it was pretty thorough. We usually, you know, gave them everything they wanted.
Sounds like you had the opportunity to operate under several really good managers in the game of baseball: Billy Martin, Dick Hauser, Bruce Bochy. Tell me a little bit about the different styles or the difference of those particular managers as their approach to the game and how you saw it.
Yeah, they were all different. I mean, my first few years with the Yankees, it was one every few months. George was firing them like crazy. I think Billy Martin. Yeah, my first 3 years, Billy Martin was he was the only one that made it the whole year. Yeah, when I first started, it was Bob Lemon was there. Then Clyde King and Gene Michael. I mean, it just. And then I went back after Seattle. I get traded back to the Yankees in '89, '90, and it was the same thing. Dallas Green started, and he got fired, and Bucky Dent took over, I think, and then I can't even remember. But yeah, no one lasted the whole year. It was tough.
Well,
it was a tough job to have. Definitely.
Well, here I'll relate a story. When I was over there managing, one of my pitchers got to AAA and he got called up for a spot start, right? And if he did well, he's going to stay there. Well, he gets up there and he gives up 5 runs in like 2 1/3 innings. And now they take him out of the ball game, and he's sitting on the bench. This is in Yankee Stadium. While he had his arm iced down, that PA announcer came over and said, so-and-so pitcher has just been reassigned to Columbus. While the poor kid was sitting on the bench.
While he's icing down.
So, yeah.
Well, here's a good story. I played when I was coming up with the Yankees, at AAA, a player, Tucker Ashford.
Oh, yeah.
He was probably our best hitter at the time, and so the following year they basically gave him the job to back up Nettles. So they even gave him a good number. I think they gave him number 24 or something. And when you get a good number with the Yankees, that means you're there. You know, you're not wearing 99 or something like that. But so he goes. He's in spring training. And basically he's going to back up Nettles at third. He's going to be a utility infielder. And so he goes and plays in the B game. There was a B game which started at 10 o'clock or whatever, and he plays 9 innings there. And then he comes back and he suits up for the regular for the game. It was the Mets game, and you don't want to mess up in the preseason Mets game with the Yankees. No. George, it was like you have to beat the Mets. So Nettles hits the ball off the plate, hits him in the lip, and comes out of the game. So Tucker just played 9 innings, has to go in the rest of the game. He didn't play very good. He made a couple errors. George says, "I want him out of here. Send him down." And they go, "George, he's out of options. You send him down, you're going to lose him." He goes, "I don't care. Send him down." Wow. So they sent him down, and someone picked him up, and he was gone. So nobody wanted to play in the Mets game.
Well, Tucker Ashford was a good ball player too.
He is really good. Yeah.
Anyway, well, it was when I was over there, it was all about discipline, and I just I remember some things that happened. I couldn't believe it, but they happened, and it was just like George Costanza said on the Seinfeld. It was just like that. Anyway, well, Steve.
No, yeah, we had to wear our uniforms the right way and everything.
Yeah.
It was.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You had to wear. No, I remember one day I put my an Oxford gray T-shirt on underneath my a uniform top, and Hector Lopez was sitting there. He goes, "Hey, Stan, come here." He goes, "You're gonna get fired." I said, what are you talking about? I didn't do anything yet. He goes, "That shirt, that's the wrong color. They gave you that navy blue shirt. You put that navy blue shirt on underneath that uniform. Otherwise, you're going to get fired today."
That's the Yankee way.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, look, Steve, we're going to let you go. We appreciate you stopping in and doing this with us. And are you got anything going in baseball right now?
No, just watching my grandson.
Okay.
That's it. Yep.
Well, good for you.
Yeah,
Time for that.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, thank you, guys. It was a lot of fun catching up.
Well, that's our time for this episode of A Visit to the Mound. Many thanks to our guest today, Steve Balboni. If you have any questions or comments or anything you would like for us to cover, we would love to hear from you. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at A Visit to the Mound, or on our website at avisittothemound.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, and review this podcast, and be listening the next time we make A Visit to the Mound. That'll wrap up this Visit to the Mound. We certainly appreciate you joining us today for a little baseball talk. Anytime you want to hear something about baseball, you can find us anywhere you get your podcast, or you can go to roguemedianetwork.com for the next edition of A Visit to the Mound.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.
I married a guy I knew most of my life. We knew each other in high school and even went to prom together. But little did I know, I did not know him at all. I will call my now ex-husband Dirty Chad.
Hey y'all, this is April
And this is Caroline.
with Bloody Happy Hour.
And we are bringing to you Dirty Chad. Get it on patreon.com/bloodyhappyhour exclusively for all the details and all the red flags.
Caroline's finally telling her story.
My truth.